Alright, buenas noches, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. How is everybody doing? Oh shit. Good afternoon, good morning. That's me. A bit of an echo. There we go. Amateur hour on the old boomer stream. Isn't the sound of your own voice the most horrific thing on the planet? Unless, of course... Yeah, Trader Cave. My room is so small that because I wasn't balls deep ETH yesterday, I've had to retire to a shed. How's the music for everyone? Is it too loud, too quiet? Mix the two. Just about right. My perfect dulcet tones. All Gucci? Happy days. Right, did everyone balls deep long the ETH ETF news yesterday? I assume you did. I as promised, deleted ETH off my watch list. It is actually on it somewhere. For the greater good of the market. Voice lovely, thank you very much, Chief. Yeah, this was quite ridiculous from last week's stream. With the legend EXO, who bid somewhere around the 2829 level. Or 289, or 29-ish. I think was his average. Absolutely beautiful pop. I was a little bit more focused on rotations. I wasn't as balls deep long as a lot of people. Evidently everybody on the timeline knew the bottom of ETH BTC was in here, 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 and here. Absolute perfection as always. But, like many of you, I'm sat in the wonderful position of I've got some nice spot bags, some really good spot bags. Like I've got a decent amount of spot ETH, right? It's bigger than my original portfolio, like way back when. It's a decent allocation. So as cringe as I am at choosing to go and do a barbecue yesterday because it was actually sunny in England for once in a blue moon. You know, I am quote-unquote sidelined in this move particularly. Even though, yeah, I've got a decent spot bag of ETH, but I've always got a decent spot bag of ETH and BTC. So from a trading perspective, my PEPE account is not doing too much. Not doing as much as I would have liked. So hopefully that'll resonate with a few people in here who have missed generational wealth. Much like I have. How is everyone positioned, or are you not? Let's get a little survey of the chat. Did you catch this beast of a move yesterday? Or are you frantically running around wondering how to position yourself? Or quite what's going on? What's going on with you guys? Because I will explain what I'm doing, what I'm looking for, my next steps in a bit. I do have one or two PEPE positions, but they're not as good as I'd like. Spotting now, closed just before the move. The long lower. Yeah, that's a standard one, Chief. Long and strong since the Pico bottom. Legend. Hope you're clout chasing that, Taco, all over Twitter. Looking to add to PEPE pos. Nice. Bought micro cap gaming shitter. I think it was 50x or 100x. Or 0, my friend. But I like that. I like your approach. It's either 50 or 100. I can't decide which. What's my midterm thoughts on Ordinals and Bitcoin DeFi? We've not had too much strength from that sector, to be honest with you, relative to the rest of the market. You know, it's been. I mean, let's have a peep, shall we, at the kind of sector bias, because it's unobjective and doesn't give a shit about my opinion. Layer 2, ETH beta, doing well. Yeah, like Bitcoin beta, all that stuff, not particularly great in the last, like, well, since the start of this week. Even before. Not particularly wonderful. I think that kind of rotation not came and went because I don't think it's entirely done. but it's certainly not showing relative strength at the moment, so it's of less interest to me. But we can certainly come on to some charts if you want. A nice one was sold, but some memes are underwater. Put the hat back on, please. Yeah, hang on, I like that this duck cunt fucking got a load of clout for saying it's going down after it literally dumped like 50%. And your boy here shorted from the fucking, well, not the top, obviously. I shorted from up here. And everyone told me I was a fucking idiot. There we go. What's zero? It's called a tax write-off, Khalil, my friend. Hey, little Frank. Still waiting for XRP ETF? Oh, don't joke, mate, that might happen. Same with Litecoin. Missed the movement with some kind of reclaim retest. Yeah, and that's it, right? It's a bit annoying that it was such a good trade and that it was a real risk-on event in the market, right? And sometimes when these things happen, I like to risk a little bit more because the relative context of the market has changed quite a bit with that, right? With the kind of, not acceptance necessarily, but everything changing a bit. And obviously, as we found out today, like, things have changed. Things are looking a little bit more positive on that front. And it's not a slam dunk, but it's looking more and more likely that ETH gets an ETF. But when the market reacts as bullishly as it did yesterday, it's obviously not quite as good as the XRP day, but when XRP won their lawsuit, that was an incredible day to trade because, like, I remember longing XRP, like, basically close to the top when it was up like 70% just for a rotation. I think I got like 7-8% out of it or something like that. But it was literally just like in with a decent amount of size, bosh, 7-8% later, bang, done. You know, that was like the equivalent of a few weeks trading in normal, shitty, low vol conditions in minutes, if that. So a bit gutted to have missed that kind of price action. But the thing about that is that there is literally always another trade. Like, always. And there's going to be a lot of people sat there sidelined and a lot of people just not whining about things, but, you know, like, not letting go. And just missing the opportunity that's in front of them. Like, there's so much going on. And this is why I always said, like, the time when it's boring is the time to plan. I think I did a tweet about it. I retweeted it yesterday. Because it's such an important, like, lesson in my mind. Just planning when things are boring. Ina. Have I taken any trades today? Only a couple of, like, little shitty rotations. Like, I'm in a PEPE long right now, but it's a rotational trade. Where am I long from? It's a shit entry. 0. Oh, I'll show you on the chart. I'm like long from down here. Basically, my average is there-ish. That's what I mean. Like, there's so many. Because I'm just trying to, like, make the most of some of this volatility, right? I'm not trying to balls deep long something that looks like this with basically, it's not a alright, it's a divergence across these highs, across there. I don't want to take the short side because I'm a pussy. It's very different. I'll talk through the thought process. It's very different. Like, compare this to the whiff short, right? The whiff short was high time frame, we had a strong sell-off, decent recovery, and it was quite quick, right? In terms of time between there and there. And the thought process being that this was diverging on lower time frames, I believe. Yeah, across these highs over here. So we had a nice divergence. We had a higher low time frame, lower high, and actually we had the whole euphoric and parabolic run up on whiff. And then we had this, you know, pretty strong sell-off afterwards. So positioning in this, like, made sense in the terms of high time frame context, right? Well, let's just take the divergence and stuff off. with PEPE, which is, you know, an absolute beast, and now essentially in price discovery, there will be a great short on that. But it's unlikely to be me that's taking it. I would rather just take the fact that this is the best performing coin on the day and just try and make some shekels out of it. Now, I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna aim for every trade to be a 20, 30, 40, 50% rotation. It's just completely unreasonable to do that, right? But I'm happy literally playing few percentage rotations at a time. You know, simple patterns, simple bits of strength, simple trades, nothing too complex, long focused, you know, literally like looking at levels. If we lose this level, then I will just cut the trade. Really not that difficult. And just try and play some rotations to the upside, right? That's all I want to do. I do not want to take the short, because in my head, you just get blown the fuck out. But there's plenty of like low time frame trades, and there's plenty of higher time frame trades as well, which we'll come on to. I'll just catch up with chat. How would you still make concentrated bets with a smaller port with so many different sectors in crypto now? To be honest, David, that's a great question, and it's not one that I'm really the person to ask. The reason I say that is because my portfolio's a lot bigger than it was. You know, it's not me being arrogant or anything like that. It's a lot bigger than it was last cycle. It's a lot bigger than it was the cycle before. So I haven't got the mindset of somebody who wants to put their entire net worth into 1 coin, 2 coins, 3 coins that will 100x and like make the big bet plays, right? If I can take my entire portfolio and 2x the entire thing, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna walk away. Like, so I don't want to be chasing the massive risk 100x plays. I still do. I still gamble in that space. But if you're saying allocate 100% of your portfolio to that kind of coin, I'm just not doing that this cycle. Does that make sense? And I think that is one of the biggest problems, to be honest, David, at this point, A, in the cycle, and B, in the crypto space generally, is that there's no clear narrative apart from ETH beta, ETH ETF, etc. And we've seen that in this, we've seen that in these moves, we've seen lots of coins, lots of like ETH beta coins move. So let it load all of it up, because this is currently only a BTC beta. Why is it only loading the BTC beta? Interesting. But yeah, like ETH beta. So ETH is probably the meta at the moment in terms of what's moving, what's not, and memes. And I still go by this sort of diagram that I drew before of like, this is where the masses sit, and this is like where the redacted sit, and they're all playing certain memes, PEPE being the main one, and then this caliber of player is playing basically PTC and ETH, and that's probably it, right? Like, that's literally probably it. And then everyone in the middle is probably getting chopped up. There'll be some good low cap memes, which I'd say fall into this category of like hyper gambling. And there'll be some decent projects that, you know, are sat within here, some decent narratives. But it won't be as easy as it used to be, because there are so many more categories, so many more projects, so many more teams launching stuff that it's really hard to find concentrated bets, at least for me, especially because I've seen a lot of it before. Like Rune was brand new, you know, chain agnostic, DeFi essentially, like absolutely incredible at the time. And now there's tons of cross-chain bridges and swaps, and you know, lend over various different protocols and stuff. It's far less niche. PEPE inverse head and shoulders claim on 8-hour chart. Okay, I will take your word for it, my friend. Came in from Trader SC Chow. What a legend. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Cool. Yeah, so what I want to do, and generally how I want to position, I mean, from my outlook in the group on Monday, this is what I was talking about here. I was literally like, I want to long PEPE because it is in a clear high time frame uptrend. We've had a nice pullback, and I want to get on board. Sadly, I completely missed it. But this whole thought process of basically breaking out of this range here, and as soon as it did, sort of jumping in for that next leg up in a real simple TA, nothing particularly spectacular, just clear downtrend and jumping on the next meme leg. Yeah, that was the invalidation in the play. Now, for me, I've kind of got to just make do with scalping low time frame rotations, and not the bulk of the moves finished, but this kind of choppy price action in terms of positioning into from a high time frame swing perspective is quite difficult for me, right? This kind of consolidation and playing a breakout trade, absolutely lovely. This, nah, this is not what I want to be trying to position into, you know, massively aggressively with a huge size, right? I want vol to die off a little bit and hopefully play a breakout trade. See, there you go. That'll be that position stopped out then, because my stop was up here somewhere. And what I'm usually looking for when I'm playing rotations as well, just to give you a little clue, is relative strength and what's going on. Now, obviously, I've been streaming with you guys, but you know, it's not doing particularly well. Esther turning his soldiers, legend. I think NVIDIA's earning call affects FET or RMDR. Yeah, hopefully, and hopefully NIR as well. NIR's one that I'm long. I've been along for a little while, and I actually think on a high time frame basis looks really good. So if we get that massive rotational play, where is my box? Come on, Charlie, you can multitask. If we get that, and bearing in mind we've had a pretty strong uptrend on NIR for a while. And we are also coming in to kind of retest this flip here. Like, I just think if we get a bit of a rotation into AI to any degree, then it's going to be really nice. And do I think it'll affect FET or RNDR? Like, almost absolutely. Well, obviously you can't say with certain, but I'd be pretty surprised if any coin with an AI tag wasn't affected by NVIDIA's earnings call. To be blunt, I think a lot of it is because the meta has evolved a lot over the years, I think, to care about those things. And I think because a lot of people are caring about it, a lot of people will position based off it. And I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, these are my like squiggles from previous streams, but like, it doesn't look too dissimilar to NIR, does it? In terms of just a third attempt at the highs in an uptrend on all like not low time frames, 12-hour chart we're looking at. It looks pretty promising for a breakout, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Can you talk more about low time frame techniques used for scalping TA-wise? What's my trading style? So I'll start off with the first question. I do not use ICT concepts. No. Is the short answer. But what I try to do is I try to structure trades around low time frame ranges, around extremes, and around relative strength. So if I look at PEPE as an example. If I go, normally I'm on the 1 to 5 second chart, but it doesn't really like it when I'm streaming. Well, this is alright. Not too laggy. What I'm always looking for is something like this. Right? Looking for something to kind of jump out and show me that it's moving massively different to the rest of the market. Now, I'll use this in conjunction with a price chart, because I need an invalidation, right? I can't just ape long. I have tried it, and in wildly strong conditions, much like any system, by the way, it's good, right? To just kind of jump in, try and protect your entry, and and hope the market carries you a little bit, particularly after a strong sell-off, right? So strong sell-off, look for strength, and like basically trade this chart. So you're trading like that. I did try literally trading off spaghetti for a while, but it's a lot harder than it might look. So anyway, what I actually do is look for strength, look at the chart, try and construct a trade off it, and you know, I'll have thesis about said coins anyway. So like PEPE, like why did I long PEPE down here? Well, because we basically sold off, we held up a bit better than the rest of the market, and I was playing that kind of reversion trade. So essentially, let's go through it. Consolidate. We were higher than these previous highs, yeah. This is spots. This is a little bit dodgy. We swept these highs already by doing this. We sold off, and we're starting to kind of see that like diagonal chop on the way down, right? And just before we came back to like this semi-pivotal point around here, and the market started picking up generally. So I started building a position in here, and lo and behold, got a rotation. Now there wasn't actually a divergence or any actionable thing off there, so my position size wasn't exactly 100%, right? And then all I'm doing is using essentially this as an invalidation, although basically as soon as it started moving, I was like, nope, I'm moving my stop up, all my stops up. And then as soon as it starts plowing down, I actually moved them up to like here by the end of it. I got stopped out, and it's that I made a small amount of money, but I mean it's kind of like fees for my next trade. That's it. And what I tend to do when I'm trading like this is I'll take a few small losses, a few break-evens, a few small wins, and then a couple of big wins that will just make up for everything. And it can be really painful. Sometimes I'll chop my account down like a little bit. It'll be, you know, 3, maybe even 4 losing trades in a row. But the degree of loss on those trades is really small. Or typically really small unless I get slipped. But PEPE's doing alright at the moment. It's pretty decent. But yeah, distribution curve of like wins losses should look like small wins, you know, a few break evens, like generally protecting around that break even area, and then there'll be like, you know, big win up here, big win up here, big win up here, that kind of thing. Does that answer your question around scalping, David, and my trading style, Caval? I don't use... I'm looking at market structure a lot. Just simple market structures in, are we taking... are we printing higher lows? Do we have relative strength? Am I playing in a category that I like? How aggressive do I want to be given the context of A, the high time frame market, B, the coin itself? Like looking at this in terms of divergences, etc. Looking at Bitcoin, essentially at range highs. Even though, and we haven't really talked about Bitcoin yet, so we'll come on to it. But even though, you know, this is really good in terms of a sort of medium time frame trend, you know, since the beginning of the month. Like we've basically been in up only, bit choppy, but up only. But we're now at that, you know, final boss of the range highs. Do I think we're going to break it? Don't know. Am I willing to position long into it? I'll certainly give it a go, even if it's just for everyone else. Do you know what I mean? Good evening, Trader Frank. Please look at Doge. I will come on to Doge. So yeah, for me at the moment, BTC, like I said in the group on Monday, that I am willing to take essentially breakout trades at the highs. I would much rather trade here than have traded here. And the reason for that is typically, and now obviously we didn't get that because of the news, is my belief, but whatever, the chart's the chart. It diddling in the middle is usually quite difficult. It's kind of 50-50 as to which way it's going to break, in my view. So I don't like just trying to trade the chop in the middle of a chart, or in the middle of a range, sorry. I would much rather participate up here, and I would much rather help that breakout a little bit. So, what am I looking for to take that trade on? I'm not going to be the guy trying to catch the bottom unless I've got some form of divergence across the lows, which, you know, even on like a lower time frame, like this is okay in terms of this. It's just not at an extreme, so it's not going to be like an easy trade for me, right? I'm not going to take it because it's just A, it's in the middle of nowhere, and B, it's not a divergence at the extremes. If that same divergence was present down here, I'd take it, okay? But it's not. So what am I looking for? Well, ideally, we produce some sort of low time frame range. So if I just delete everything, I'll just treat it like a low time frame range, right? And I will literally just wait for a little move up. And if we can close and hold above 7861, I'll jump on board. I'll try and build my position in on the way up, if I can, if we start getting something like this. And just assume that this was, you know, a small sell-off. And then hit it with size here. But I've averaged in so that hopefully my average is just below. And then I can play around a low time frame like consolidation. Let's just get the range back, because I can't really be asked to try again. But, you know, for now it is ranging. If obviously the opposite happened, well, the opposite necessarily, but we ran out and we came back and closed like that, that's a pretty simple short trigger in my opinion. Like, don't overthink it, especially if you fall balls deep. Altcoins, I'm often long altcoins. I'm not often long altcoins, short BTC, but I'm almost always looking for a decent short on BTC with invalidation, you know, clean invalidation, because I'm normally hugely exposed to altcoins both from a spot and a PEPE perspective. And my trading strategy generally is long alts, maybe long BTC. I do have some spot BTC, obviously, that I've had for years, and, you know, short BTC by proxy, because you're essentially saying that ETH is better beta. So, let's jump into some other stuff, shall we? I think I've already covered... I haven't really talked about WIF. Let's go through NEAR. So I still think NEAR is going to be great. I think if this breaks out, it's going to fly. So plans on jumping on board NEAR, particularly before the NVIDIA call, is literally playing this like little low time frame range. Like, I could be tempted to... I have a bag in NEAR, so, you know, take everything that I say with, you know, a little bit of caution, because I am invested, so to speak. You know, push, reclaim, go. Like, literally, long reclaim, simple. You know, if you're not comfortable in terms of sizing, assume it's going to break out, assume it's going to go to $10. Bosh. Easy. And because basically if it comes back in here, maybe I'd go a little bit further. So from an RR perspective, it's not hugely attractive. You know, it's not like a 5-hour trade or whatever. But NVIDIA, NEAR being basically all-time highs. Like, I think if it runs, it'll run pretty hard. It'll be tough to get on board. So yeah, something like that for NEAR. I think DOGE has a absolutely lovely chart. The only thing that I don't like about DOGE is the fact that most other memes are stronger. Now I did all these notes again before, but you can kind of see my thought process, right? It's a real simple line through the middle of it. Any of you who were in the stream before know that I had a massive position on DOGE down here. I did have a much higher target for it, right? It's much, much higher. I can't remember what it was specifically off the top of my head, but it was something like this. I think I tweeted it out as well. But when we lost this here, when we tested it the first time, like down there, I had to take some of it off because I'm a pussy, and it was a big position, and it was just not what I wanted to do in terms of round trip it. When I set the plan originally, you know, I said, well, if it at least 2x's, I can take half of it off, because, you know, whilst percentage-wise it's not the greatest trade I've ever done, on the size that I had, it was a good trade. But now we've essentially cleared this high time frame pivot, and if you zoom out from a weekly perspective and drag that along, that is kind of confluent with quite a lot. This, and sort of that. A little less so there. But yeah, if we can actually like really push above and hold that. I'm gonna move it down a little bit so it fits my bias. I'm joking. So it's cleaner on recent price action. Like that's a huge level to flip. Huge. And I memed the other morning that memes are dead. It's fucking ridiculous to think that memes are dead. Like, I think memes are probably one part of crypto that's just going to completely live on, right? Because I know that they might not have the liquidity, they might not have the volatility that they do now, but even in a bear market, we will get some memes that fly, right? Even last bear market, we had PEPE, for Christ's sake, right? We had PEPE, we had, we had WIF, I suppose. We had, I'm trying to think of some other ones. But we certainly, I wasn't too focused on onchain, but we've had lots of decent memes. And if you are somebody, like David, I guess, who wants to make, 5,000x trade this cycle, then if I was starting again and I had like $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or something like that, I would be much more tempted to go to the low cap casino. But with the absolute acknowledgement that it is a low cap casino, full transparency, I did a portfolio of like AI coins, and they were all low cap when I tweeted about them, every single one of them. Some of them have absolutely banged, some of them went miles. I think POW was like 50, 75x, something like that at the highs. But yeah, not looking as good now, obviously, but I think I was tweeting about POW down here somewhere. And then obviously just absolutely ran. Palm. Let's see. Palm again, just flew. Actually went up a lot more than that. Yeah, I was going to say, this is an exchange listing. I think I got in it down at 0.03 maybe. Absolutely flied. But enough sucking myself off. The point is that two of the other ones that I can remember, SWAT AI and Guardian AI, I think they both went to zero. So, overall portfolio up massively, but certain coins in that portfolio literally went to zero. So, excuse me, let me just take a sip of water. So yeah, that's just my way of illustrating that when you go into low cap land, you need to be prepared to lose. So I've had people message me going like, "Oh, I put everything in this coin." It's like, no, mate, what the fuck are you doing? Like, if you want to do that, absolutely fine, but there's no refunds. Like, I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it with my whole portfolio. Absolutely not. But like I said, that is where I would go if I was starting again. So yeah, Doge looking really good, and I think if this, even if this closes like this from a daily perspective, you could warrant a trade. Like literally, again, I'm being really cautious and wide with my stops because I want to see a trending market. I don't want to see us completely capped by this. So basically invalidation in the lows. Do people understand the notion of position sizing to ride trends? Because if I do something like this to make the maths easier. Do people understand that? Do people understand position size calculations and stuff? I'll catch up with the other messages in a second. So essentially, like, if I wanted to risk 1% of my balance, yeah, every time I take a trade, and let's say my balance is $100,000, like, I'm not putting $100,000 in this trade. I'm going to put $10,000 in this trade. So that when I lose, if I lose, it'll be $1,000, which is 10% of my $10,000 position, right? That's it. Can TA be applied to on-chain soul shitcoins? It depends on the liquidity. I think TA is one of those things where you either believe it works or you believe it doesn't. I don't believe it's a perfect science at all. I think like, when I first started TAing, I was like, oh my god, like, this has to be perfect. Right, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in and make sure that this is like, because, you know, I'm betting real money on this. Oh my god, right, oh my god, look at that line, it was too high. Oh, now that, oh, perfect. Right, there we go, we've got equal touches. Absolutely perfect, lovely. Right, this line cannot be penetrated. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was fucking retarded, to put it bluntly. Like, if you ever just watch the books and you just literally on the 1 second chart, like on the 1 second PEPE chart on another screen, like, it is just absolutely wild. If you think someone somewhere has drawn a 1 day chart and it's gonna stop the other 400,000 people, you know, playing that coin, someone else is looking at something completely different and they're gonna market buy or market sell based on whatever. There's gonna be a hack. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that. There's gonna be an ETF announcement. Like yesterday, it's gonna fucking do your line in. So, lines and TA generally is just to say, I am wrong if it does not go above here. And I am willing to take that much of a loss, is my opinion. Equally, it is, if price does this, i.e. goes above imaginary squiggly line, I am happy to take a long position, again, on the basis of we have shown some strength, we have broken out of a range. I'm going to put my validation here because it has come back into the range and I will be wrong on that basis. Yada yada yada. So, do I think it can be applied to like something doing 1k daily volume? Absolutely fucking not. Do I think it can be applied to principles of, you know, meme coins? Of on-chain shitters? Yeah, absolutely. Because if you start looking at something that's doing this and making higher highs and higher lows versus something that's doing this, like, I'd rather be long that than this. Equally, if you've got stuff that has a very clean pivot point in terms of, you know, strong run up, bosh, 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 you know, alright, I'm going to long here. Nice trade setup. You know, depth down there, fine. Like, gives you a setup to a project that you've wanted to invest in for a long time. So do I think it works? I mean, I wouldn't trade off it intraday, but I would use it to give me signals and invalidation. If I wasn't willing to just simply risk 100% of the bag. Ooh, a few questions. I look at SHIB. SHIB's a bit of a sore one for me, mate. I mean, I made a good amount out of SHIB, but it wasn't the billions that I could have had. Or billion to be exact. Oh, I've done it before. Again, you know, it's the same thing as Doge, really, but it's actually weaker than Doge. I think it will create a nice trade. I think it's one to look out for on low time frame rotations. This is what I mean, right? So let's structure a trade around SHIB. Let's go through it. Let's go through SHIB. So firstly, PEPE's still good, right? Still in play. This is what we like to see on low time frame rotations. So when you're asking me just to jump back, how do I scalp low time frame and low time frame rotations? I'm looking at this. I'm seeing that it's good here. I'm seeing that it's good here. And, you know, even on this rotation of beta, it's the top one. So you still want to be playing it as long as that's the case. But what in this case, I just saw SHIB down there, right? So it's still shit. It's still shit. But we can either preempt the go, and we can go like this, and we can go, right, well, structurally, what's our invalidation? Well, it's basically this low here, isn't it? Because if we go anywhere near that low, SHIB's fucked. We can go a little bit more aggressive and go low time frame if we really want to, and be like, right, well, really we can push down here, but not particularly great. Or we can just simply wait for SHIB to show some strength on here, knowing where it is, and knowing that basically our invalidation for any trade is likely to be something like this. By the time we catch it, right? By the time we get on board, it's probably going to be up here, because it's going to have had some time to show that relative strength. But your invalidation is the initiation candle that it came up from, right? Simple. So that's kind of a high time frame thesis that we are going to flip this pivotal level on SHIB with low time frame trigger points. So if that happens, I hope that at least one person in here takes that trade, shows me their P&L, and I will be super happy for you. But obviously no refunds, right? And don't bet the fucking mortgage. Don't be clowns. But yeah, structurally it looks quite nice. I don't think high time frame top in or anything like that. I think if you're working on the basis that there's continuation in the market, and that memes form a decent part of that continuation, which is what I'm operating under, then yeah, I don't think it's wise to be bearish SHIB, but I mean, by all means, short it if you want. I think 53k is a high probability demand zone. Yes, in short. I don't think, when you say high probability demand zone, do you mean that there will be demand here or that we will hit it? I think I think if we get there, we talked about it before, if we actually, go down, obviously we'll go down from back in time, but if we went down there, I'd expect either us to front run it or to literally blast through it and then recover, and then that's your invalidation, your big high level, high time frame line in the sand. So yeah, we've got a plan for SHIB. So stick SHIB up here. God, I've got so much shit on my watch list, haven't I? Jesus Christ. I'm surprised after these there's still got any volume. Where the fuck is it? Oh yes, of course. So, let's go for the next question. Smash the likes. Ah, cheers. But time to consider building swim positions now and take a look at Tia. Bosh. Tia had its run in one respect. Tia could definitely catch up. We talked about this last week actually with XO, didn't we? So if you wanted a fresh position in Tia, to me, it's probably looking like that pretty soon in terms of this downtrend breaking. It's not clean, but starting to see that change in direction. It's just not very clean in terms of like, where's my invalidation on this? Because I'm always trying to look for like, where am I wrong? And where would I look? Well, why would I long this over something else? I'm not very good at pre-positioning into things anymore. I'd rather just jump in when there's kind of confirmed strength, if that makes sense. Yeah, it is starting to move at least. I would probably be looking for like something as simple as us flipping this and really starting to show a little bit of, either hold this and then use that as an invalidation for like next leg. But I'd much prefer us to show some strength first, because I don't want to preempt into Tia, but it's not too bad. Smash the likes. 6-figure position on Doge. Maybe last cycle, mate. Can you take a look at PEPE? PEPE? Sounds like Mike Tyson going to the bathroom. I mean, again, it's one of those where it's not particularly wonderful. It's kind of the same as TIA, right? It's a strong downtrend, looks like a decent like reversal initiation candle, but really like no relative strength. I can't get too excited about stuff like PIF, do you know what I mean? How's the base beta performing at the moment? Not great, to be honest. I think it's reasonable to assume that base will have another run and that base will, you know, go pretty hard at some point, given that Coinbase is the front of crypto in the TradFi world, really. Coin in and of itself looks okay. Again, broken like low time frame downtrend, or well, I guess medium time frame downtrend, because this is a 4-hour chart, but whatever. Again, if we can start breaking out of like this consolidation and starting the next leg up, I think if we are high time frame bullish and we are looking at that next leg of the crypto market, then coin will rally with it. And along with that base, I imagine, so you know, the two will be twined together in one narrative, and we'll get that re-ignition of base beta. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to have exposure to base, base memes and all that kind of stuff. I've got one that's absolutely redacted. You can find it on my timeline. I'm not gonna, you know, jump on and shill it here. It's pretty obvious what it is. It's a soul shitter. I think it's at like 2 million market cap, high risk, obviously. But I like having some high-risk degenerate plays. How do you think the Sol on-chain memes will react when Sol tops this cycle? Are you trading in Sol, not USD, when Sol is in a downtrend? Firstly, slow down on-chain when I think Sol hits a local top. Yeah, it's good point. Sorry, my voice seems to be going today. Yeah, when Sol reaches like a peak, and you got all these people who are basically Sol-denominated meme coins, and they'll go, fuck me, this is a lot of money. And actually, it's time to start selling and realizing some of those. It'll be that cascade effect, right? Of essentially, as soon as one goes, the rest start falling. And really, in terms of Sol, you know, I think there's always going to be space for certain memes on Solana. I just think it's cheap. I think it's attractive. I think it's got, you know, a pretty big cult following. But then the same was said of BSC and BSC chain. So anyone around in like 2020 will remember that like BSC chain was just Binance's chain. Sol is a little bit better, I must admit, but it's very cheap. You know, one of the things that people like about Sol is that it's cheap, it's reasonably fast, and all that kind of stuff. Well, BNB and BSC chain was there before, and it was there for, you know, 3-4 years before Solana was and actually being used. You know, the hype will no doubt die off at some point, but I'd rather not be the person that tries to time it and fade it. Well, for a few reasons. One, it doesn't normally earn you that much money. Two, makes you look like a prick. And three, you just end up getting hated on. Like, it's such an EV, minus EV trade from a social credit perspective and from a P&L perspective. Like, if you don't want to participate in that arena, absolutely fine. If you think it's a big bag of shit, absolutely fine. Just don't fucking put your money there. Easy as peas. But yeah, when it dies, what will likely happen is if we get another wave, it'll probably be the final one, right? I don't want to be too negative, but it'll probably be the final like big wave of the hype narrative, And then I actually think we'll go through not a huge bear market and everything goes like -80, -90%. I think a lot of altcoins will. A lot of altcoins will go -90%. I actually think we get a lot more of a stabilization in terms of Bitcoin. It will drop. But again, it won't be like -80 or 90% like previous cycles. Probably be like -30, 40%. So it'll be like a high time frame, yearly trend that we're trading. And volatility will gradually get lower and lower over time until, we're at some ridiculous number. I think that's what will happen. And then I think you really will be forced to go on chain. Tyson taking a piss, yeah. Hi, why and what indicator to use in spaghetti chart and pivot screen? All sell short, red buy long, thank you. So these are just pivots. They are just pivots, is exactly what you said, mate. Pivots high-low, real simple, 50-50, left-right. And all they're doing is they're just visual cues. They're not buying and selling anything. They're not doing shit for me, right? They're just, what I use them for mostly is to focus my eyes on where Bitcoin was low or where Bitcoin was high. And so what I can do with that information is I can just zoom in on it like that and try and line it up so that when Bitcoin was at the lowest point in the last 50 lots of 5 seconds, this is what was moving. MTL, great. RNDR, great. Do I want to take a trade off those two? Yeah, not particularly. MTL's dog shit in terms of liquidity. FTM, interesting sell-off. I wonder if that smartest money closing is FRM. So FTM selling off strangely compared to the rest of the market. Maybe one to watch out for reversion because it's been exceptionally strong. So again, all I'm looking at is real simple ranges, nothing more. Like if we can actually start to recover that on a lower time frame, maybe not. Because it's not just up here that I'm looking at, it's here. Anything that's odd, anything that's really out of place. So if we can start seeing some strength here, then maybe that's a little cheeky long. Non-crypto question, how'd the barbecue go? Oh, it was great, mate. It was lovely. Lots of good food, good vibes. Yeah, it was great. I had barbecue yesterday and I had barbecue on Saturday. And I've put on about 4 stone in the last 4 days, probably. Oh. I'm guessing is smartest money closing his position. He's a pretty good trader. Very good trader. Especially to do it all publicly. I'm joking, by the way. It's probably not. It's just interesting to see FTM be such, a poor performer, even on just a simple low time frame rotation. So, where are we going? Where are we going next, chat? BLZ. Oh, man. What's this? What's this shit? We talked about BLZ before. Blue Zell. Right, I don't know what this is. Structurally looks like dog shit. Whoop. Top sim, brother. Sorry. How excited am I to see Kai at 35 million? 1 billion is 28x and 10 billion is 200x. Oof. I mean, I feel semi-bad about Kai in the sense of, I tweeted the other day, didn't I, that last time I put it at the range lows and a chart, it literally looked like this, right? It's exactly the same chart as was there at 30 cents. Did I draw it differently on one of them? Maybe, maybe not. I did it 30 cents. It literally went like that and went up, and it did the 30 cents to $2 run. Oh, it must have been down here. Actually, no, it was further. There must have been the on-chain coin. And then obviously what it's done since is just shit the bed. So I'm excited to see it available at lower prices, yes. In the sense of there is more upside to come potentially. I should say potentially, because obviously it's a you can do anything, it goes straight to zero. I don't think it's going to, just for clarity. But you know, I am quite exposed to Kai, so I want it to go up. I want people to buy my bags. But you know, here's a reasonable place to take on some risk in terms of you've got a pretty clean invalidation of these lows, which look like they're being reasonably defended. But yeah, it hasn't actually started a decent uptrend yet, especially given the vol. But maybe what we see is, you know, that rotation to quote-unquote blue chip memes, i.e. PEPE. Some DOGE and SHIB. And we just see, you know, a meme coin cycle. When I talked about this earlier in terms of the extremes, you know, the TARDFi and the TradFi, you know, Bitcoin and ETH over here, memes and stuff over here. I think this and general project beta is a lot better at the moment. Yeah, I think it's a good project, mate. I talk about it quite a bit because I've got a decent sized bag of it, so. What a geek. Wow, man. How can we get the volume chart? Which one, mate? Just the VRVP one? That. Sorry, I'm just working out to ban this fucking retard. Do I usually wait for the retest, for example, FTM? Let's have a peek. So with FTM, what I usually look for is it to gain a little bit of relative strength and actually start moving. That's all I look for. So I'll be watching this quite vividly and watching and hoping to see it start to do this, right? And what I want to actually see it do is cut up through all of this stuff, and I want it to tell me I'm about to outperform the rest of the market. Watch, like that kind of move, right? That kind of start of a move. Oh, there's a spaghetti one. You can have this, mate. Blush. What's my top pick for the rest of the cycle? That's really tough, and I was talking about this earlier. It's tough to have just one. It really is. It's very tough to have just one, because I suppose the way I think of my exposure at the moment is there's certain aspects of the market that I really want to have exposure to, right? Because they haven't had massive runs. So let's think RWA. I think that's still a very strong narrative that I think has got, you know, reasonably good upside potential. I think AI, if AI has another leg, which I think everyone's looking at NVIDIA tomorrow to see if AI is going to have another leg, but I think, is AI as a narrative done? No. Is it going to be as easy as it was the first half of 2023 and I guess probably October as well, October, probably the whole of 2023. Let's just say 2023. Like, because AI just ran rampant, right? Is it going to be as easy as that? No, I don't think so. Because I think a lot of teams, I think a lot of projects cottoned onto that. But I think AI is still an area where I want some exposure to. I'm trying to think what else, really. Like, obviously I want memes, so things like Kai that I talked about. I've got loads of memes, like, I've got loads of, like, on-chain memes that are either going to 10x, or go to 0. I've got literally no idea. Whatever I've put in them, I'm happy to lose. Link finally breaking out of complete dog shit. I think Link does well in markets that aren't particularly exciting. Link's genuinely a pretty reasonable coin. I mean, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I personally don't want to take a position on Link, but that's because there's better beta available typically in memes. But it's certainly not looking bad. Esed's bag of Kai is ridiculous. Jingo closes laptop because we're looking at Kai. Someone asked, mate. It's the coin that pays SC and Lambos. I think SC had Lambos well before this one, mate. SC's bag of Kai is ridiculous. Yeah, he's got a big bag. I would like to hear your new thoughts on onchain, Telegram chain, launching not. Do you have a chance to analyze the new trend? Ton is an interesting one for sure. Because it's obviously a new coin, had a pretty nice accumulation range, broke out of it. Reminds me of Anri actually. What the fuck? Why have I got a Fibonacci tool even anywhere near one of my charts? Disgusting. Obviously, from a high time frame perspective, we've got a nice divergence. Bosh, bosh, bosh. But wider market in an uptrend, and that's weekly, right? Like, structurally, it doesn't look too bad on medium time frame, I guess, in terms of daily. Daily market structure still intact. But, like, do I want a position here? Yeah, it's tough to get a position here, to be honest. So yeah, don't know. I'm not really a big fan of big fan of jumping on like this quote unquote late, and it might not be late, right? This is just Charlie being a pussy. But in terms of like invalidation, obviously down here, far easier in terms of when it starts moving out of that trend into price discovery. That for me is like the trade, right? And unless it starts doing something like that up here, I'm just kind of not that interested in it. Unfortunately. But I'm a strong coin. Decent. PYR? PYR, fuck me, mate. Not gonna lie, I round tripped that, and then I sold the lows. Where's PYR? Yeah, I basically sold into this, I think. So yeah, not particularly wonderful. Actually holding up at that point of control. Still bullish on BEFI Labs for PRC narrative. BEFI USD is one of the worst charts I've ever seen, my friend. I don't know what the fuck. Oh, 22% move. Yeah, there's a reason I kind of stopped tweeting about this one. Because basically, again, what I try and do is talk about ranges and stuff. And as soon as we lost this range, it just fucking died. It launched too late into the BRC narrative. And, you know, this is kind of reminiscent of that. Which is what I mean, like, when you're talking about These low-cap new project shitters, it basically launched at the peak of the BEFI, Yeah. Of the whole BTC DeFi narrative. Managed to run up once, and then just fucking died. Minute? Yeah, I've got a bag of that. It's just another cat meme. I'm hoping that there's going to be a cat meme run. But at the moment it's frogs. I mean, this is such a wonderful market that we trade, isn't it? We talk about different fucking animal memes. I actually got into this space thinking you can do discounted cash flow analysis on projects and stuff. Little did I know. About onchain, they have a lot of tapping games in Telegram, sort of farming before listing. Considering it's an ecosystem of a billion of users, you can turn it a big bag. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, a lot of the gaming stuff is, it's not great. I'm not a big fan of the Telegram ones. I want something that you can actually like play. So there's one that launched today, which I tweeted about it yesterday. I think it was. I don't even know how it's done. I haven't checked it, to be honest. Is it Nyan? How's it put together? It's 9 heroes, but I don't know if this is going to be like a dodgy one. But it's 9 heroes anyways, the game. But the game actually looks sick. It's like it's basically like Overwatch. So it's like Overwatch meets Fortnite basically, and I actually want to play it. So I'm happy to like invest and put money in things that I think I'd play, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not sure about a Telegram game, to be honest with you. Would you consider something like Enkai to be showing strength after a big sell-off? Don't know, mate. Don't know what Enkai is. We need every animal memes at this point, yeah. People comparing Web3 games with GTA 6. You're excited for GTA 6? Absolutely not, mate. I've got no... I mean, I like GTA 5, but I basically played it like 3 years later than it came out. I'm not like massive on it, to be honest. Yeah, MYRO's been a bit disappointing. And we obviously talked to XO about MYRO, and whichever one it was. Yeah, this is the chart. So basically the simple fact that, you know, we consolidate, we trend, we consolidate, we trend, we consolidate, we trend, question mark. But the real lack of strength, despite it being meme season, is genuinely disappointing. CRO. We'll do a couple more and then I'm gonna head off. So if anyone's got any questions, fire them out now. We're just looking at CRO. CRO 0. Crypto.com. 0, mate. Soz. I use my Plutus card all the time. So Crypto.com can go away. But yeah, I mean... it's not particularly strong. Reasonable invalidation in terms of these lows, and obviously you've got something like this. So it's not bad in terms of like if you're anticipating a major change in trend, but there's really like very little sign to say that that's going to happen. I don't like... I struggle with taking positions like this when I can rotate capital much better myself. But, yeah. What's it going to take for them to actually push it out? Obviously, more buyers than sellers. Or certainly sellers stepping aside, and buyers willing to step in at higher prices. Lol. Market's up 50% in the last day. I think it'll lead a cat rally. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I saw, who did I see talking about it? I can't remember I saw talk about it. Maybe it was Owen or someone like that. But yeah, this is what I mean. This is really nice. This is what I'm hoping like the likes of SHIB and DOGE, etc. can do. They flip the side time frame pivot, go for another run. Basically, flip, break out. Right. How long have I been trading? I've been here since 2017. I wouldn't say I started trading until 2018 though. So yeah. The other thing with PEPE is, and I've printed this, I've talked about this whole like former all-time high retest theory quite a lot, right? That we break out, we get that euphoria, and essentially, you know, this is now the new all-time high. So we break out, we come back and retest it. I would still be looking for PEPE longs at this point, on the basis of, on a lot of rotations, there's still some decent PEPE strength, PEPE beta, right? It's still pretty in play, but recognize that when that relative strength drops off, you're probably going to be left holding a piss poor long at the highs. Going to play the war within? Yeah, mate, 100%. Working for success? Yes. Did you cash out in 2021? Yes, I did. I actually sold basically the top. Cashed everything out by the 16th of May, I think it was. 2017, not so good. I cashed it out, and then I... so what did I do? So on the 16th, well, I think it was the 16th. It was like the Saturday and Sunday I was cashing it all out. And then I'm pretty sure I went out for dinner on... I'll get the days wrong. But I went out for dinner on the 18th. And then I came back on the 19th, slightly hungover. And I shorted Matic down for like 70%. And then when we basically hit the lows, I was like, I think I closed about 5-7% off the lows or something. And then after it literally went like this, went, and I was like, I closed here, and then it started going. The market started coming back. Matic was the most in-play coin at the time. I longed it down here and rode it up, and I was like, that was like minus, well, that was plus 70% or something, and plus 60% up in a day. It was fucking ridiculous. So everyone was there going, oh my god, like I just lost my entire net worth, my house, my car, my kids. And I was there going, wee! So I didn't really glow about that one too much publicly on Twitter, because it was a bit of a shit time. You know, a lot of people being like, I've just got liquidated, like, Sam's fucked me, blah, blah, blah. But it was the best trading day of my life, because how I finished that cycle versus how I finished the cycle before, absolute worlds apart. Absolute worlds apart. But anyway. Enough for me sucking myself off. It crashed. 21st of November. No. That was kind of the like echo bubble, if you want to call it that. I'm talking about that one. Yeah, bosh. What are my plans for this cycle now? Matic's old news. Yeah. Matic was, you know, this is way back when, boys. This is like 3 years ago now. It's funny to think. It's funny to think it was so long ago. Let's answer a couple more questions. I'll go. So, plans for the cycle. I mean, I've still got a decent amount of spot, and I tweeted a chart a while ago, which was last week we talked about it on stream. Actually, we talked about like this, right? Trading periods, when to trade, ranging, kind of downtrading, to be honest. And now, hopefully, this is the start of an uptrend. You know, that was this point, and I think, you know, we get that real expansive move, I think we get something ridiculous like this, you know, only a like 3x from here, but the whole market goes absolutely bananas, and off we go. I think that when that happens, if that happens, I won't sail off into the sunset, because I've said that before, and I never did. But, I don't know, I like trading, man. Trading's like a computer game for me. It's... how do I put it? It's the only kind of game where you're rewarded or lose money materially based on your ability to read things. And I like that. I like the fact that, you know, if you go to work and you get paid £100 a day or whatever it might be, you know, your income is just this. Whereas if you're trading and you're a good trader, your income will probably do this, right? Probably be a little bit sketchy, but over time, it'll go up. Particularly if you can compound your wins, and if you can get to a point where you've got your expenses covered for a long, long, long time, right? And if you're actually good at it. Bid the banana zone. Yeah, I'm gonna go off. Did I buy a bag of PEPE in the end? No, I didn't, mate. Sadly not. I need room for so many memes, I'm afraid. I genuinely have got a fuck ton. Yeah, I'm hoping this is like the next leg of the next trending leg of the market. So in short, look out for PEPE strength and continue PEPE strength. If there are pullbacks to bid, I think PEPE is one of the high contenders. I think if ETH gets rejected, I think we're still in an uptrend. There will be a Bitcoin breakout trade to play at some point. We talked about SHIB, low time frame rotations. We talked about NEO. We didn't really cover off Ondo, but Ondo is floating around all-time highs and is part of that RWA narrative. So again, high on the radar in my opinion. We didn't really talk about Popcat either, but that's okay. That's fine. And WIF, I wouldn't be surprised to see WIF come back, but again, like this is my level, my high time frame level. And at the moment, if you were just a pure baby pips trader, you would say short that. You know, market structure is downtrending, clear level, clear rejection, but I don't want to do that personally. It's one of the few careers we can go home after 4 days work with less money. Yeah, that's happened several times. Going home, what going home, but going downstairs and saying to the wife, I've just lost a car. Oh, is that a nice one? Yeah. It's an interesting feeling. But you've been up there for 16 hours. Yeah, it doesn't really correlate. Sometimes I can make more in 5 minutes than I do in a month with just one good trade. But that's the way of the market. But anyway, on that bombshell, I will love you and leave you all. And I will see you all at the same time next week. Au revoir.